One of the few men present at the Pioneer Women's Rights Convention held at Seneca Falls, New York in July 1848. Douglass remained a constant champion of the right of women to vote. In April 1888, he spoke before the International Council of Women in Washington, D.C., and these were his words.
Although I have long identified with the women's suffrage movement, and I have often spoken in its favor, I am somewhat at a loss to know what to say on this really great and uncommon occasion where so much has been said. Men have very little business here as speakers anyhow, and if they come here at all, they should take back benches and wrap themselves in silence. For this is an international council not of men, but of women, and woman shall have all the say in it. This is her day in court. I believe no man, however gifted with thought and speech, can voice the wrongs and present the demands of women with the skill and effect, with the power and authority of woman herself. The man struck is the man to cry out. Woman knows and feels her wrongs as man cannot know and feel them. And she also knows as well as he can know what measures are needed to redress them. She is her own best representative. We can neither speak for her, nor vote for her, nor act for her, nor be responsible for her. And the thing for men to do in the premises is just to get out of her way and give her the fullest opportunity to exercise all the powers inherent in her individual personality, and allow her to do it as she herself shall elect to exercise them. Her right to be and do is as full, complete, and perfect as the right of any man on earth. I say of her as I say of the colored people: give her fair play and hands off. I've been thinking of the strong conviction, the noble courage, the sublime faith in God and man it required to set this suffrage ball in motion. It was a great thing for humane people to organize in opposition to slavery, but it was a much greater thing, in view of all the circumstances, for woman to organize herself in opposition to her exclusion from participation in government. The reason is obvious. War, intemperance, and slavery are open, undisguised, palpable evils. The best feelings of human nature revolt at them. We could easily make men see the misery, the debasement, the terrible suffering caused by intemperance. We could easily make men see the case was different in the movement for women's suffrage. Men took for granted all that could be said against intemperance, war, and slavery. But no such advantage was found in the beginning of the cause of suffrage for women. On the contrary, everything in her condition was supposed to be lovely, just as it should be. She had no rights denied, no wrongs to redress. She herself had no suspicion but that all was going well with her. She floated along on the tide of life, as her mother and grandmother had done before her, as in a dream of paradise. Her wrongs, if she had any, were too occult to be seen and too light to be felt. It required a daring voice and a determined hand to awake her from this delightful dream and call the nation to account for the rights and opportunities of which it was depriving her. It was well understood at the beginning that woman would not thank us for disturbing her by this call of duty, and it was known that man would denounce and scorn us for such a daring innovation upon the established order of things. But this did not appall or delay the word and work. The women who have thus far carried on this agitation have already embodied and illustrated Theodore Parker's 3 grades of human greatness. The first is greatness in executive and administrative ability. Second, greatness in the ability to organize. And thirdly, in the ability to discover truth. Wherever these three elements of power are combined in any movement, there is a reasonable ground to believe in its final success. And these elements of powers have been manifest in the women who have had the movement in hand from the beginning. They are seen in the order which has characterized the proceedings of this council. They are seen in the depth and are seen in the fervid eloquence and downright earnestness with which women advocate their cause. They are seen in the profound attention with which women is heard in her own behalf. They are seen in the steady growth and onward march of the movement. And they will be seen in final triumph of women's cause, not only in this country, but throughout the world. And now, Clayton Williams will end our program with one more song.